Welcome to r/EntitledPeople, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story. New hire talking back and not taking direction and insanely rude. God, I just need to get this out there because I'm raging right now. Gonna change some details for anonymity. Basically, I've been working at this restaurant for a few years, and I'm working one of the busiest holidays of the year. Normally I'm a server, but I was hosting and floor managing because we were short-staffed for the weekend, and that way I would kinda be a floater. Hosting, doing to-goes, resetting tables, etc, etc. Now there were 2 servers on the floor, and one was a new hire who's been there for about 2 weeks maybe. It gets insanely busy with the phones, to-goes, seating, and I'm updating the menus on the laptop all at the same time. Meanwhile, this girl's not paying attention to her tables and has multiple tables sitting with no water and not being greeted for 10 plus minutes at a time. I turn around and she's standing there behind the bar just wiping menus slowly, something that's not important side work during dinner service nor necessary, because I had plenty of clean menus. She even left one table outside without greeting them for 30 minutes, even though she had stepped outside twice and somehow had not talked to them. The entire night, me and the other server were taking care of her tables while I was also hosting, etc. Additionally, the other server was on a double as well. Well, end of the night comes, and the new hire sits her butt down and is just doing roll-ups. Does not help break down the floor or anything or take in the outside furniture. And the server that's on a double wants to talk to me outside and smoke. And I said, okay, sure. Let's grab the broom though, and also sweep the outside seating while we do that. We were outside for maybe 5 minutes, 10 max. Come back inside and the new hire goes, "Can you guys get a move on and hurry up and finish closing? Because I'm doing all these roll-ups and I want to leave and have a birthday party to go to." I'm sorry, that's not my problem. You should have taken today off then. I said, well, we were outside sweeping, but all you've been doing is the roll-ups, and that's all you have to do, so once you're done, you can go. The roll-ups were almost done even though there was still other closing duties to be done, so I thought that would be helpful to her leaving faster. She then starts talking back and telling me that I haven't done anything and acting like she's done so much today. I told her that I shouldn't even still be there because I was hosting, not serving. But because there was still closing stuff to do, I had to stay. She then tells me to leave. I'm like, girl, I have to do the money drop and do other shift lead things. And she tells me anyone can do that. At that point, I had to go into the kitchen because I thought I was going to fully flip out on her. No, not anyone can do that, you dumb A. That's why I have to do it. And you don't know what you're talking about because you're new and you have no clue what you're saying. The other server told her to then clock out and go right then and there because the disrespect was just not tolerable, and she refused to leave. Didn't you just want to rush out and go so badly? Now you won't leave? Anyway, in the end, she was just sitting there after doing the roll-ups, and I said, okay, you can go now for real. And she said, oh no, now my friends are running late, so I'm actually just chilling, and sat there on her effing phone and watched me while I swept the whole inside floor. Her side work, not mine. I'm not trying to be harsh to her, and I dislike bickering with coworkers. And I'm not down with being rude to new hires or being annoyed, because they don't know things or anything like that. But what I can't stand is lazy, entitled, and rude people who come into an establishment thinking they know everything, especially one where we all have to help each other out, and they're being SH and talking down to me when I'm busting my butt covering your tables all shift and doing your side work. Best part of tonight though is I should have cut the double server earlier, leaving the new hire to do closing duties alone. But she knew she would be so shot about it, she said, hell no, someone's got to close the restaurant down because she definitely won't do it. I've tried to direction her and teach her like, hey, this is how we do XYZ here. Or, hey, just letting you know I sat 2 people outside for you. Or, just closing this table out for you. Can you finish busting their plates, please? And she just either doesn't do it or is combative with me about things. Last week, her first week in second shift, she lost a check slip with the tip marked, and I asked her to please look in her apron, etc. She eventually told me that she threw it out on accident, but it was just a cash tip. Why didn't you just tell me that in the beginning? So I tried to tell her, okay, that's fine. Just so you know, even if it's a cash tip, we have to stab the CC slip, so we know it's not just a lost check, and we can avoid looking for it at the end of the night. I was very patient and very calm. No problem, it happens, you know. She proceeds to pull me to the side a few minutes later and asks, are we good? Do you have a problem with me? I was flabbergasted, honestly. She tells me she's new and just trying to learn, and I explain yes and I'm trying to teach you. It seems that she just can't take direction or criticism or anything well, and is a combative person. When I went to the owner about it previously about her pulling me to the side and asking if she had a problem with me, she just said no, she's just being funny. She's got a dry sense of humor. I actually couldn't believe it. I told her no flipping way. That was not a joke and it wasn't funny. I don't know if I should even bring it up this time to the owner or if I should just request to not be scheduled with her anymore and let the other shift leads deal with her instead. But next time I'm letting her sink on her own. The second story is snobby motel clients? What the hell? I work front desk at a motel hotel after a few days working in high-end hotels. And God, why are the clients so much more demanding? I'll give you an example of it, because I've worked at pretty much every hotels from 2 to 4 stars. And the 4-star hotels with far less features always seem to have way less demanding customers. No clue why that happens, but I really want back into more exclusive hotels. Our hotel is not really fancy, but for the price it's honestly amazing. We've got a pool, sauna, and a hot tub. It's always clean, the reception area and the pool area looks great, and it's the cheapest hotel in town for your bucks, so I really wouldn't complain if I were a guest. So this very French lady and her mom checks in, and the moment I start explaining the $100 security deposit, which is standard practice by the way, they both cut me off with, "Oh, can we pay it with cash?" "Sorry ma'am, since we do not take money from you for the security deposit, and since we only pre-authorize it, we prefer to take only to prevent the litigation and protect you as well as the hotel. We have a policy to only take credit card to hold." She starts arguing with me for 5 minutes about there being no security deposit in France, and asking me about 3 times if I really can't accept the cash, and how I should somehow bend to her will despite the hotel policy being clear, and me rather being trained to throw you out for not abiding to them rather than bending to all the mildest complaint. Please move along. Both of them keep interrupting at every sentence, while I'm trying to explain how we process the deposit, pool hours, closes at 10:30 p.m., and other information that she'll ask me later because she cut me off and not listening. Then she goes on this rant about how we might be trying to scam her out of $100, and that I shouldn't be asking for the 3 digits on the back of her card, because in France we don't do that. You can't legally take the CVV number from behind the card. I work at a bank, I know. What if you take money from my card then? Internally. Ma'am, once again, this isn't France. Stop acting like the lingua franca is still in place. So it takes another 10 minutes to finally get her to hand me the card over, after which I'm resuming the booking process, while she literally laughs in my face with her daughter about the motel being shoddy, despite it being totally appropriate with a hot tub and a spa for what would be $50 a night. But like, you're staying at the cheapest hotel in the area. We've got more amenities than most places that charge double. Yeah, we don't have a change room for the pool, you'll have to change in the shower area. Then she complains she doesn't have a car and is now revealing to me that she's somehow on a highway and can't get to the town center in a tone that could only convey, "How can you fix this, underpaid hotel receptionist?" I mean, yeah, you booked in the middle of nowhere on a highway where mostly workers stay for the night. Now what do you want me to do? Teleport you there? I tell her that she can book an Uber anytime, and it'll only cost her $10. She starts to complain, "But Uber doesn't work on my phone." I see. Could your daughter use her phone to verify if that option would be suitable? It's actually $15 per ride. I find that to be a suitable price to transport 2 people into the town center. She then starts to complain about the place being scary, and there being a lot of men staying over for the night like, "No SH, they're working and leaving in the morning, lady." They go back to their room and take a picture of every corners of the room to go back to the reception desk and show me. "Oh look, we took pictures of every parts of the room to make sure you won't scam us." Okay, you did amazing. Honestly, feeling rather super disrespected. Is she totally oblivious or genuinely trying to make me quit my job? Honestly, can we talk about how the guests who pay the least are often the most demanding? I've worked at 4-star hotels with double the rates, double the security deposit, and half the complaints, and somehow the cheapest hotel in town, this place, just seems to have the absolute most demanding customers, who think, "Oh my god, this is so expensive at every turn." And I'm tired of explaining to them, no, it's not, in a long-strung sentence to sound more domesticated than I should be. So these 2 French girls were mad about everything they didn't plan for, while cutting me off at every sentence, asking me every possible question about how unfair your fate is, like I personally flew you out of France and dropped you off at a roadside motel full of hunky men with no transportation, and a vaguely unused hot tub and sauna area. They didn't even quite catch that I gave them a death stare after some point, because I spent 40 minutes trying to book them. Just stop cutting me off, and stop acting like you're above everything that makes this place safe. Security deposit, strict policing, while simultaneously choosing to stay at the most budget-friendly place around, and insulting the hard-working, highly filtered clientele that we choose to have, with the very same strict policing. It's insulting for the people working there trying their best to serve you. We are professional. GD, what the F? You're at a motel. The third story is Loyalty Doesn't Pay Until You Walk Away, a story of courage, corruption, and comebacks. A friend of mine was nearing retirement. She was a building manager. She had worked for the company for over 30 years and had risen in the ranks. She was the type of person who would get out of bed on her day off or when she was under the weather to go to work early so she could open the building up, shovel the walks, and have hot cocoa for anyone who stopped by on a snowy day. I worked in the main office and my job put me in contact with her at least twice a day. I thought the world of her. So did her employees. She had about a year before she retired and they demoted her to a cashier in one of the stores in the building she was managing. The demotion came with a huge cut in pay. She was devastated. She had devoted her life to the company. She had just been honored at the company dinner for being a great employee. What happened? The snot-nosed relative of one of the directors needed a job. The budget was a little tight, so why not just take pay away from a high-paid employee and give it to the relative? And while they were at it, they gave him her old job. Up until that time, I'd been happy there. I was about 25 and pretty naive. This was my first real job and I thought a lot of what went on. This was in the mid-80s, was normal. When this happened, I started thinking about all the other crap that I had seen and heard during my time there, and my eyes opened. I quit on the spot. I called the main office, told them what I thought about what they had done to one of their best longtime workers, how I thought they'd been effing me over, and told them I was leaving the keys to the company car at the sales counter and they could kiss my A. My friend quit too. Fast forward 2 weeks. They called me and offered me my job back with a raise. I called my friend and found out they were reinstating her as well. They paid both of us for the time we were gone. They also reinstated our annual salary and sick leave. I also got my company car and credit card back. Apparently, after the two of us left, there was a big to-do among the employees and customers. Morale dropped among the workers, and sales slid once they found out what had happened. For what it's worth, I ended up quitting several months later after using up my accumulated sick leave that was use or lose. They paid me for my annual leave, and I managed to time my quit date so I cashed out my retirement before it vested. I used the money to finish my education without racking up student debt. My friend quit about 6 months later with full-time retirement benefits. She'd been planning on retiring anyway and decided to do it. She thanked me for walking out because it gave her the courage to do the same thing. And the snot-nosed nephew was moved around and was never very successful. I heard he lasted less than a year. After him, there were a lot fewer nepotistic hirings. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to know when the new video comes out. And hit the like button to support the channel. Have a good day.